everyone, and we're live for a midweek interview. My guest today is Crushed by Pimps. Welcome to the show, guys.
Bonsoir. Hello, Doctor.
So, guys, last time you came to us as Mr. Susan, so you obviously have a new side project going. So, first off, I mean, like I asked the very first time I interviewed you guys, the name, man, where the name come from. I mean, I remember where Mr. Susan came from, but Crushed by Pimps, I'm completely lost.
Right. Okay. Well, this is probably my fault then. Well, there's an old legend of an old acquaintance of mine that did actually get run over by a pimp on a zebra crossing, and so we thought, well, that'd make a really good title for a song, and we tried to write a song with that title, but it wasn't very good, and we could never finish it. So we said, actually, it'd make a much better name for a band. So it became the name for the band.
You know what? That's a good point. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin lyrically to start a song like that. But that being said, you guys are still kind of keeping true to the semi-prog rock and kind of somewhere along the same lines of Mr. Susan ideas sound-wise. And I'm just kind of curious, first off, like, has your songwriting process changed? Has there been some added stuff to it? Like, what's kind of happened in the past, let's say, few years to recreate another project and start some new songs?
Mr. Susan was, it was a meeting of mine. So basically there were four of us and we all had ideas and no one wanted to say no to anybody. So we used to just generally put them all in. And try and make them work. And I think what we do now is if Ben or I are not feeling it, we just won't do it. So from that respect, it was a bit kitchen sink before, and now it's probably a bit more focused and a bit more refined.
Right on. Now, lyrically, you guys are still kind of leaning, I'll call it, towards the funky side. I mean, I've always been a big fan of your lyrics, of not just I guess some meaning behind them, but just because they're weird and unexpected. It's like the titles of some of the songs, and it's amusing and satisfying at the same time. If that makes sense, just because I'm amused by the title of the song or the lyrics, but the quality and production behind it is really something else.
I think it's interesting because most of our song titles usually start as just working titles, and
always start with the title first, and then write the song afterwards. So just it all comes about because when you're recording, when you're jamming in the studio, you come up with an idea, and you're either going to end up with a load of tracks that are just called 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, or jam on this date or that date. So that's probably the most inventive we get, is when we just come up with some crazy song titles from just something funny that happened that day, or something that's sort of caught our attention. And then we build the lyrics around that usually.
They all the things we work on have a pet name. So I guess, for instance, what's our most outrageous pet name we give to a song? What's the windmill one? What's it got in it?
Oh, large windmill impregnated and running on ball bearings,
which we call windmill.
And what that is, it's just something that came up on the. I was trying to buy something on eBay, and it came up on the sidebar, and I was just thinking, what the hell is a large windmill impregnated and running on ball bearings? Turns out it wasn't as exciting as I thought it'd be, but it was worth it. Made a good song title at least.
That's amazing. That's so funny.
Especially for a song with no words in it as well. I think we need to increase the word count, so we put them into the title.
Well, the one thing I was thinking of, just keeping a quick track on names here. I remember when the Bell Doma combination came out of your guys' EP, well, the Mr. Susan's EP. Now, whose grandfather was that? Because I remember them telling me it was their grandfather's band's name back in the day.
On the back of the CD, it was my great grandfather's band and his cousins, and it was, I have no idea what the music. I would imagine it was some sort of like ragtime jazz or some weirdness like that. But it was just an interesting picture, just to find out that like some of your family members are like crazy musicians as well. It's quite interesting.
It's very travelling fairground looking, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Right on. Well, I just wanted to kind of clarify that, just because I was remembering that, and I couldn't remember, and I was like, well, just to refresh my memory here. So, anyways,
yeah, one of them looks like he's playing a synth as well. I'm sure it's not a synth because they hadn't been invented, but that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, you never know, but you're right. They hadn't been invented yet, but there could have been a possible lead up to. So we're going to get to our first song tonight, and this is the newest single you guys released, and there was a video for this as well. This one's called Margot Goes Boho. Dig this.
I wake up in my house in North London and practice transcendental meditation. It involves thinking about a personal mantra to clear your subconscious. I drink hot water and lemon, then have porridge for breakfast with almond milk and honey. I've got a sweet tooth. 11 a.m. pre-New York shopping in Marylebone High Street. I buy Tabitha Simmons ballet flats and a jacket from Matches.
Goes boho again. We all know about Margot, my friend. When Margot goes boho again. We all know about Margot, my friend.
Had to for lunch. I'm obsessed with a chicken aioli hot box that I'm trying to only meet once a week for the environment. Jonah and Zoe help me pack as I pull things out of my wardrobe by shouting yes or no as we listen to the excerpts. I meet my friend Portia and we go to the park to take some pictures for her blog. There's a sign in my garden that says, "Congratulations, you're human of the week. You can't look at that and not feel happy." Ha ha ha. Genius.
Right on. Crushed by Pimps and Margot Goes Boho. Now, man, this is like, I love this tune, and the video. I just have to ask, how did you come up with that name? Like, what was the idea behind it with having her pretty much recite throughout the entire song and just have like a little bit of actual lyrics in it? What was the idea behind it? How did you come up with that concept?
That's very interesting. Ben's probably better explaining it, but so I'll let Ben explain.
Yeah, basically, I spend a lot of time. Yeah, it's very interesting because sometimes I spend quite a lot of time in the toilet, and the only reading matter that's there is usually women's magazines that the missus happens to leave in there. And what I find a lot of inspiration from the ridiculousness of women's magazines. And yeah. So you know all these people that you're really supposed to aspire to be if you're a woman, that live in Primrose Hill and have a really great lifestyle that they like to talk about in these kind of magazines. Yeah, that's where I get the inspiration for these kind of lyrics from their fabulous lives.
I'll talk you through the process, Bones, if you like. So
before the first flush, or
before the first flush. So this particular article was about a very well-known model and the heiress to a rock and roll I guess, dynasty that lives in Primrose Hill, who will remain nameless. And we basically paraphrased her entire article and put it through Google Translate, and it came out like that. And we thought, well, actually, it's either that or it sounds like Valley Girl by Frank Zappa, which would not be far off.
Right.
So we kind of left it. So the whole Margot Goes Boho thing is about actually how people's lives are actually consumed by shopping and buying hot boxes from Leon, because they're obviously trying to save the environment, because that's what you do, wouldn't it? Isn't it? Really? That's really going to save the environment.
Wow, that's pretty. Was not expecting that. I wasn't sure what to make of the song, just because this one it really stuck out. Like some of your guys' past songs have stuck out. So I'm just wondering about it. And I'm sure, although Mike couldn't join us tonight, I'm sure he was wondering about that one too as well. But just the video itself is really cool. Like, I mean, I've watched it a few times just to really let it sink in. But yeah, it's a great video, and I do have the link, which I'll post up here in a few minutes on Twitter for you guys. But yeah, this whole EP, so the EP is essentially done, but in order to carry on the road, you guys said you're looking for a drummer, correct?
Yes, we need a drummer.
We need a drummer pronto, yeah. We haven't got a drummer at the moment, so yeah.
We are in hiatus until we make friends with a drummer.
So,
and there's not a lot of them about, you know.
That was going to be my next question. I was going to say how hard or easy is it to find a drummer, and not just a drummer, that kind of suits your guys' style, because let's face it, it's unique and it's not pigeonholed, which is not a bad thing at all, mind you. But I couldn't quite trying to figure how a drummer would quite fit into that.
Well, they've got to be able to play in odd time signatures occasionally, and they've got to be creative. Basically, that's all we need. We need, not just some bloke that's going to turn up for a gig to get paid, because we never get paid.
Well, who does though? Really, who gets paid? Very few people get paid. I think that the challenge is that we lucked out with Bryce, who played on the EP, because he turned up and he got it straight away, and he was really good, and actually we were able to write a lot of the tunes with him, so he fitted in really nicely. And then he went to Canada for 6 months, and he probably rode past your front door on his bike while he was doing that. And he's younger than us. His life has taken a different turn, and he wants to do different stuff. So now we're left in a position where we've got to find someone pretty much like Bryce, and they don't grow on trees. People don't turn up and just get it and fit in and don't have, I don't know, any agenda, and can actually play as well, because he's a really good player.
Right.
So it's a lot to ask of someone, and the thing is that there's a lot of bands asking for drummers that would fit the bill like that, but there aren't a lot of drummers around that can actually spend the time practicing, because they've got jobs and stuff. So unless they're getting paid, they're quite often not that great. And if they are great, they want to get paid, basically. Because we've had a couple of people turn up that have, really enjoyed themselves, but because we're not actually in a position where we've even got any gigs or are selling anything, then there's no kind of.
See, my theory is you need a drummer before you can book some gigs.
Exactly.
So that's my theory. Call me old-fashioned if you like.